I understand why people are focusing on the fact that the DOJ has revealed those photos of all the documents Trump stole, the top secret stuff spread out. That is bad. It's evidence of a crime. But honestly, some of what came out in this filing, which by the way, the DOJ filing didn't need to come. It was in response to Donald Trump trying to get this special master, which he doesn't seem like he's gonna get, and taking forever to do the filing. So most of the document analysis had already happened. They're just the worst. But some of what was revealed, I think might even be more significant because it goes to not just that he committed the crime, but that he knew what he was doing was a crime, which for some reason with rich people is the most important part of a crime. We just get done, if you do the crime, you go to jail. For them, it's all about what's in their mind. So the DOJ said in its filing that it is, quote, evidence that government records were likely concealed and removed from the storage room, the like closet that's come up so much, and that efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation. They say that the FBI, in a matter of hours, recovered twice as many documents with classification markings as the, quote, diligent search that the former president's counsel and other representatives had weeks to perform, calls into serious question the representations made in the June 3rd certification and cast doubt on the extent of cooperation in this matter. So what they're saying is they said they'd cooperated. They clearly didn't. They said they went through all these documents. It says classified in huge letters. You can't miss that. So they clearly were lying. They were not cooperating. That gets to motivation, as well as that some of the documents they found weren't in the storage closet anymore, implying that they had been identified during that search and were then taken out and put somewhere else, which gets to an active attempt to obstruct the investigation. None of this should be necessary. Let's be clear about that. He already committed the crime hundreds of times over. We already know that. We're done with that. We're moving on. But on top of it, he clearly was in the know about the fact that it was a crime, that he was continuing to commit crimes, and was trying to make it impossible for the investigation to catch him. This should be drop the balloons, we got him. Can we wrap this thing up, JR?
It's so simple, right? Open and shut. It doesn't get any easier than this, right? I guess they want to make sure that all those MAGA folks that Lindsey Graham wants to go riot will have nothing else to complain about. Maybe that's the only thing left here, because by the way, there was one line in that whole thing when they're talking about the diligent search that his representative and his counsel conducted in between the two first requests for the documents and then the eventual search and seizure of those documents. They said that they couldn't produce those, but there was that diligent search. Why are you searching for something like this important in someone's residence? Who does know where it is? Who brought it in? Why do you have to search for something in your house? John, if you've got 12 highly classified documents in your house somewhere, do you think your wife has to go, well, I gotta go search for them because I have no idea?
They could be anywhere.
You think she might say, hey, John, they're looking for some documents that you brought. Maybe you can tell me where they are. Instead, it's a search. Why is it a search? It should be somewhere. And in fact, the FBI agents came back later and searched and found them. But the people closest to him couldn't find them, or they didn't want to find them.
Yeah, so let me demonstrate how ridiculous it is. So saying, I searched and I couldn't find it, and it turns out it was in your desk, is the equivalent of like, where are my glasses? I just can't seem to find my glasses. Oh, whoops, senior moment. That's what happened, except with classified sensitive documents of national importance. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.